I listen to podcasts. That's how I learn a lot of ideas. And one of those podcasts is Mindscape by Sean Carroll. The last episode of that podcast had a guest called Lera Boroditsky, who was talking about how languages shape the way we think. How languages shape the way we think about space and time. English, Hindi, Punjabi, all these, Spanish, all these languages that I have learned, Spanish a little bit, not too much. In these languages, spatial coordinates is relative to us. I am standing to the left of your brother. The guy standing behind the guy in the yellow shirt, that's the one you have to talk to. This thing is in front of me, you are on my left, I am on your right. Your left leg, the leg that is in front of you, the leg that is behind you. We think of space from our point of view, right? We are the center of the world, and the directions and the places in the world are from my point of view. That's a useful way to look at space. But I learned not all languages are like that. Here comes this paper. This amazing paper. Lera Boroditsky went and studied an Australian Aboriginal community called Pornpurau. The Pornpurauan guys, this culture is fascinating. Their language is fascinating. Their mind works in a different way. Everything spatially in their language is absolute. They literally talk about the southwest leg, the northwest leg, the guy standing to the south of this guy, the guy to the north of you. They always know which direction they are facing. They always know. It's such a part of the language that even to say hello, this is how they greet each other.
Hey, where are you going?
I'm going northwest. What about you?
I'm going northeast.
Oh God, 90 degrees. Wow.
Yeah.
Even to say hello to someone, if you have to know where you're pointing at, it has to be subconscious. Now, I have no idea which direction I'm pointing at. I literally have no idea right now. Wait, hold on. Yes, the sun sets that way, so that's west. So which means that's east, so this is kind of south. But I had to think about it. Those guys don't have to think about it. They always know. Even a 5-year-old kid would know. Someone who doesn't know that cannot function. To me, it just blows my mind that wherever they are standing, randomly they always know. It's fascinating. That's how language shapes your thinking. It would be really fascinating even if that's the only thing in this paper. But this is where this paper becomes from a very interesting paper to absolutely mind-blowing. First of all, let's go back to the way we think about time. Space and time in our minds are really interlinked. The words we use for space are the same words we use for time. I'll meet you at 7. How long is this meeting going to be? We have a short time. Can you move this meeting forward? Oh, it's a long time away. A long time ago. A deep time. In 5 minutes. The way we think of time is attached to space very concretely. If I give you a bunch of pictures from your childhood up to right now, you will, if you are an English speaker or a Hindi speaker, you will arrange those probably from left to right. Left being the youngest, right being the oldest, right? Right? You would, right? That's subject number 1. Arrange them from youngest to oldest, please. Youngest on the left?
Yeah,
Why did you put it on the left?
because basically it starts generally in my head. It felt like I should start from the left.
Very nice, thank you. Why did you put youngest on the left and oldest on the right?
Youngest to oldest, we normally do left to right.
Left to right normally, yeah? In your mind.
Mine works left to right.
Left to right.
तो अगर youngest यहाँ से शुरू करूँगी क्या? ऐसे भी कर सकता था.
छोटा यहाँ से शुरू करेंगे and बड़ा
लास्ट में बड़ा हुआ है.
Okay, thank you very much. The arrow of time in our minds go from left to right. So that shows you that time and space are attached very intricately, intertwined in our minds. The way we map time onto space. You might have guessed where I am going with this paper. These guys, Borborawans, since their understanding of space is so absolute, it's so based on the ground, their sense of time is also attached to the ground. And it always goes from east to west. It always goes from east to west. Why east to west? Because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. East comes first, west comes later. You're facing south, east is in your left, west is in your right. So you think of time going from left to right, as English and Hindi speakers do. If you're facing north, you would see it opposite. If you're facing east, they'll make the arrow of time come towards them. If they're facing west, past is behind them, future is in front of them. Blows my mind. It's just, I've been thinking about it since I first heard it, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I always want to share the process of science. How do we get to the right answer? How can we know what we know is the truth? And how well do we know that it is the truth? And that's a really important answer for a scientist, a really important question for a scientist, to understand the confidence of their results. That is why the psychologists, the way they conduct any psychological experiment is they never tell their subjects what they're testing. They always misguide them. In this case, they told the Porporawans that we are actually testing how well do you know past from present and from the future. So just take these 6 images and line them up from the youngest to the oldest. They didn't tell them that we are testing how you visualize time. No, that will ruin the experiment. For half of the experiment, the guy was sitting here and they told them, okay, 6 images, line them up. Half of the experiment is done. They tell the subject, we want to have another camera angle for these tests. Would you please go and sit over there? And surprisingly, as the position changed, the way they were ordering those 6 images changed. It was always pointing from the absolute east to the absolute west, not according to their position. How amazing is that? Can you even imagine thinking of time in such a way? Can you imagine thinking of time in such a way? We humans are so diverse from each other that it's imperative that you study all these tribes, all these different areas, go to all these areas and study them to understand yourself. What you think is the norm, what you think is natural is not natural. Things can be so different from what you think they are. It's amazing. If you like this video, if you like such videos, comment down there. I'm sharing the links of the paper and the TED Talk and the podcast and everything down below. Lera Boroditsky, go read her research, very fascinating. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. See you next time. This is how they say hello.
Hello.
Where are you going?